Hi, I'm Sally and today I'm going to show you the benefits of using sous vide with barbecue. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to cook today is a beautiful piece of brisket, and we're going to make po' boys. So I just got back from New Orleans and been really inspired by these amazing filled sandwiches they have out there, and we're going to use this lovely piece of beef today. Brisket is generally quite a tough cut of meat. It can often be quite dry or chewy, and that's why it's so good cooking it sous vide, because you can cook it low and slow. We're going to cook it for about 36 hours, which does seem like a long time, but at a low temperature such as 64 degrees, it really breaks everything down whilst retaining the moisture and locking in all that flavour that I'm going to add to it as a rub. Okay, so we're going to take these spices. So in here I've got some black pepper, I've got some onion and garlic powder, bit of salt, and I've got paprika and cayenne pepper. So I'm just going to crush these peppercorns. I'm using these flavours so it's going to give a really nice, spicy, slightly smoky flavour. And I'm going to go in with the onion and garlic powder. And then I've got a teaspoon of cayenne pepper and a tablespoon of paprika. I'm just going to mix a bit of salt in here as well. Now when you're cooking sous vide, the flavours are much stronger once they get cooked, so you don't want to go too heavy on the salt, as you'll find things are pretty over seasoned. So we're going to rub the mixture into the brisket now. Like that. I'm going to completely cover it in this mixture. Okay, so now we're just basically going to pop it in the bag. Okay, so that's finished. So what we're going to do is we're just going to leave that to marinate in the fridge for a few hours. About 6 hours is good, and that'll really let all the flavours develop before we put it in and start to cook it. Okay, so while the brisket's marinating, I'm going to talk a little bit about some prime cuts here. So this is a rack of lamb, which is probably the most expensive cut of lamb you can buy. It's quite difficult to cook under normal circumstances, especially on a barbecue, because you've got really high heat. So what we're going to do is we're going to marinate it in a few herbs. So we've got some garlic here. Just going to crack that clove of garlic. Just 1 or 2 cloves is more than enough. Going to put some rosemary, a bit of thyme, and then we're going to have some salt. Just season the meat up nicely, like that. I'm also going to use just a piece of paper to put over the bones of the lamb, just basically stop the bag from bursting while it's cooking. Put that in. So we're going to put the herbs in. We're going to put that on the side of the meat, and then we're going to put some oil in as well. Okay. Okay, so all these flavours are going to really infuse while it's cooking, so we don't need to leave it to marinate. I'm just going to go straight into the water with this. So we're just going to leave that to cook for an hour, by which time it will be a lovely sort of pink in the middle, ready to be finished on the barbecue later on. Okay, so we're going to grab the brisket out now. That's had about 6 hours, so it's had time for the flavours to really penetrate and get in there before we start to cook it. So we're going to go into the water bath. And we're basically going to forget about that now for 36 hours. We'll come back and it'll be beautifully cooked. So this lamb's ready now. We're going to take it out of the water bath. So we're just going to pat this dry. You can smell all the lovely rosemary and garlic flavours coming up from that. And that's ready to go on the barbecue now. So now we've got all the sous vide cooking completed, we're coming to getting it on the barbecue. We're using a ceramic barbecue here. It's nice and hot, about 250, 300 degrees, because we really want to sear that meat nice and quickly. We're going to probably give this brisket about 10 to 15 minutes on each side to make sure that charcoal flavour really comes through and it gets those nice sort of bar marks and seal marks on the meat. Just going to leave that to rest for a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to put this sous vide lamb rack on the barbecue. So we want the barbecue nice and hot. We'll just do it for a few minutes on either side. So we just want to get those really nice caramelised flavours in there without actually cooking it any further. Okay, so now we've got everything cooked. So here we have the lamb rack. I'm just going to show you how juicy and pink this is. This is probably one of the best examples of how sous vide works for the barbecue. We've got the nice caramelization from the barbecue just around the very edges, and then we've got a perfect pink all the way through from edge to edge, so it's going to be totally tasty and delicious. Okay, so the main event is going to be this beautiful brisket that we're going to make into our po' boys. So we're going to start by carving this up. It's got this nice crispy barbecued edge. It's going to have a beautifully soft texture. So now we're going to get our sub rolls. Generous helping of coleslaw here. And then just pull apart a few of these strands of beef. And you can see it's just so moist and tender. And I'm just going to finish it with a few homemade pickled chilies. You could put chili sauce on it if you wanted to, or barbecue sauce. And there it is. So as you can see, sous vide and barbecue are a match made in heaven. You just follow a few basic tips, times and temperatures from the sous vide and just experiment with the flavours that you prefer.